Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Rotoworld Football Show on Thursday, August 28th. I'm Patrick Daugherty, joined by Denny Carter. We have been drafting. We're going to draft on this show. We're going to attempt to game out the first 7 or 8 rounds of what we would call a perfect draft, the absolutely ideal draft, according to our absolutely the same tastes and interests in fantasy picks, Denny. We both just love to get a lot of running backs early, hit a few receivers then. No, we're going to try to give you a perfect draft. We're also going to hit on all the latest news, cut down week, a lot going on. Rashee Rice has accepted a 6-game suspension. Spencer Rattler, they said it couldn't be done, has won a quarterback competition, so that's great. Denny's going to gloat about that. He's really into it. Joe Mixon, the mystery deepens, IR to begin the year, out at least 4 games. They don't know if he's even going to play this season. Chris Godwin is going to play this season, but we don't know when. So there's a lot to get to. Denny, we've been doing so much drafting. That includes, we're in the middle of Rotoworld Draft Day. We have our best ball mock coming up later after this show. We have a mock draft countdown, a live Q&A session at 7:30 p.m. Eastern this evening, leading into the PPR mock draft that we have got coming for you with some of our really, really good friends in the industry, including Ian Hartitz. You maybe have heard of him. So really, really, really good stuff. That is tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern on the NFL on NBC YouTube channel. Just really excellent stuff. Really excellent stuff, Denny. When we were in New York City / Stamford, Connecticut this week, did some drafting there. Matthew Berry, the league show for the Fantasy Football Happy Hour. We had a great time. Great time. They're going to be revealing all that on the show next week. That is, we had a great time until we left. Take the audience through what happened when we left.
We got our exercise in. Some would say, well, on a business trip, you don't have time to work out. Pat and I have that dog in us. We have that grind set, right? And so we got our workout in, and our workout came after a 2-hour and 20-minute drive to LaGuardia Airport in the middle of crushing, grinding rush hour. There's traffic in New York City, apparently.
A lot going on in Flushing, it turns out.
Yeah, U.S. Open, Mets game, things of that nature. And long story short, we arrive at LaGuardia 16 minutes before my flight takes off, and about 30 minutes before Pat's takes off. Okay.
Boarding has begun on both of these flights.
Boarding is almost done by the time I get to the airport. Well, I stretch out in the cab or the Uber on the way. I get my stuff and I run. And Pat and I run together until we have to split. I actually didn't even realize Pat had split from me. Like, that's how focused I was, laser focused I was on getting to the gate, right? So Pat's gone. I'm like, okay, I gotta go.
Listen, I'm in a high status here. It's because I have pre-check.
Yeah, right. Okay. And good for you. I'm not mad, nor am I jealous about that. But I got there, and now I'm booking it. I'm running. Families are getting out of the way. Not exaggerating.
Not exaggerating either for me.
A guy lets me get on that little walkway that lets you go a little faster down the way, and he actually starts clapping. He goes, "Go, man!"
Oh no! Oh my gosh!
and I'm running, and I actually have to stop at one point because I'm gassed. I'm just totally gassed. I have nothing left, right? But then I see the gates closing. My gate's closing, so I pick it up again and I just go. And I waved down, hey. And the lady, after she says, last call for flight so-and-so to Washington, she goes, oh. And I got in just before those gates closed. So it was a happy story. My anxiety was through the roof for hours.
I'm not going to lie to you. I didn't think you were going to make it.
I didn't.
And earlier in the car ride, you were like, oh, man, we're not going to make it. I was like, dude, like, come on. We're not even close to it. Like, just trust me, brother. Like, because Denny knows I've begun to kind of white knuckle the airport experience. This was not one of them. We thought we were leaving more than early enough. It turns out traffic, Google Maps, not exactly the most accurate yesterday in the Triborough area. I don't know, down horrific. But Denny was already kind of starting to feel like, dude, like you get there like 10 minutes before boarding. It doesn't matter at all. Like you're totally fine. Then about midway through the car ride, I had to admit to Denny that you should maybe at least see if there's another flight.
Yeah.
After
at one point you were saying just buy the ticket for the flight.
I was saying, let's get the later flight. Just change your flight. It'll be fine. And you were right. It turns out very similar experience. So too, I'm just bursting through the airport. I get to the front of security. I'm huffing and puffing. I had an expired driver's license. Of course, the new one finally arrived when I was gone. The state of Missouri, you could send the driver's license a little faster. Let me be honest with you. I get some brief static about that. It still has the Real ID star, blah, 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 whatever. I'm through security with no issues until I'm selected for random screening.
Oh, man, what a time.
I don't even know why I bothered. I had my flight's boarding. I think that just motivates them even further. Then, like, I was forced to take off my belt then. And, like, they were like, oh, man, this guy's flight boarding. Hell yeah. Let's see how slow we can make this go.
Okay, so I didn't have time to put my belt back on after security. So my pants are falling down. My jeans are falling down. I'm having to hold them up while I run, while I have my bag and my backpack. And my shoes are coming off because they're not really running shoes. They're like cool shoes, right? So they're, oh, my God, it was a disaster.
So running, I got a ride on a cart at one point, but then there was a huge escalator. I had to sprint the final third myself. I was the last person there. There was 2 or 3 people who had not boarded, but I at least got in a line. So I made it. I'm home in St. Louis. I'm a little sore. I wish I were lying. I'm actually sore. I'm from running from LaGuardia Airport. My voice is sore, Denny. I'm talking so much about fantasy football these past few weeks.
I haven't podcasted with you in hours.
I know. There's just been so much content, so much for Denny and I. Hey, Kyle, you ever think about coming back? Where is Kyle?
Kyle?
Many are asking, where is Kyle? He's apparently in Vermont. Kyle, you need to come back. You need to podcast.
He's missed 14 shows.
You need to podcast, young man. Kyle will be back podcasting with us next week. We are podcasting here today about the news of the week. Rashee Rice, we wanted resolution all summer. At first, we thought we weren't going to get it in the form of that his legal case would stretch out till after the season. Then we thought we weren't going to get it because the legal case surprisingly resolved. Then the league looked like they were going to throw the book at him. They kind of did, but now it's via a negotiated settlement. 6 games to begin the year is key. So the best ball bros, they're screwed. They were drafting Rashee Rice all spring, all summer. They're screwed. You're drafting in your home league this weekend. You at least have complete information. 6 games to begin the year. What is the fallout from the Rashee Rice suspension that we knew was coming, we did not know when, and we did not know how long?
The fallout is this. Rashee Rice, over the first 3 weeks of last year, it took over completely what was once known as the Travis Kelce role in the KC offense. That left Travis Kelce as really a non-option in 12-team leagues. With Rice gone, I think Kelce occupies that role once again. He has some touchdown regression coming his way, as I wrote about for the site, if folks want to check that out. He still has a prominent spot in this offense. He's going to run a lot of routes. I think Kelce becomes slightly more tolerable at his ADP.
Why you're talking about Kelce because you don't want to admit that you're wrong about Xavier.
I'm not done.
You just don't
obviously
want to admit
Xavier Worthy is going to roast me.
Yep.
Never good, but going to be good now. And really, but here's the thing, though. I thought more about it this morning, and actually on my run while I was actually sore from yesterday, and I thought about this. I don't think it matters all that much if Rashee Rice is in the lineup. Xavier Worthy's role was never going to be what Rice does in this offense, right?
Except for it kind of was the end of last year. They did start giving him some of the Rice stuff. That's when his fantasy season started to turn around, actually.
No, because the Rice stuff was not the Marvin Mims usage, which is which is what Worthy saw. He was Marvin Mims of this offense. And
he's not the Marvin. Come on, man. The Marvin Mims of this offense. He can catch an actual route. I know he has no clue where the out of bounds line is. He's an actual wide receiver. Marvin Mims is Cavante Turpin.
Wow.
He's not.
I had no look. I didn't mean it as an offense. I had no idea that you think Mims is not even NFL.
He's not a real receiver. He's either deep or
Worthy's not either. Anyway, Worthy doesn't. His fantasy value doesn't really hinge on Rice. Kelce's does. So I think be aggressive on Worthy. I still think you should take Rice if he falls.
I think Worthy's ceiling does hinge on Rice.
And Kelce becomes interesting, unfortunately, for those who don't go with the elite tight ends.
The Rice thing is real tough. It's half the fantasy regular season. It's not an injury. Most leagues don't have a suspension or an NA spot. So it's 6 weeks on your actual bench. That is half the fantasy regular season.
That's gross.
I I think in your home league and a redraft league, if you have the convenience of just not doing it, don't do it. The best ball bros even now have to take him. Like everyone has to be drafted. Everyone's a value at some point. But IR spots have helped a lot when it comes to drafting injured guys. Rice, he doesn't even have that luxury. Some leagues do have an NA spot. Some leagues have a suspended slot. Very, very few do, though. That's what's really tough with Rashee Rice.
So Rice has fallen to the point where he's going slightly after Pickens, Jamison Williams, and Tet McMillan.
Not even close to far enough.
Okay, so you're saying not close. What about Calvin Ridley?
Yeah, Ridley easily. It's half the fantasy regular season.
Okay.
And the thing is, when he comes back, I think that's the range he's going to be in anyway. So take those guys who are going to be playing those 6 games. I don't even think he's going to be that much above what I think a lot of people are still kind of deluded that he's going to be like a top 20 receiver. I don't see that.
Wait. He was the number 2 receiver overall when he got hurt last year.
There's 3 games.
Okay.
Three games.
That's fair.
3 games.
That's fair.
3
Okay.
games.
I scrolled down a little more. Hold on. Let's pinpoint where we're taking him. Okay. Like if you had to. Okay. And I know you just said don't do it, but if you had to.
Don't do it. Yeah.
Are you taking Stefan Diggs?
No. All right. Fine. You got it.
Okay. I found the spot. I found the line.
I think you found the line.
Matthew Golden.
Oh yeah. I'm taking Matthew Golden over him for sure.
Well, I'm taking Diggs over both those.
I don't draft. You like for some reason you're into Diggs, who was in terminal fantasy football decline for 1.5 years before he tore his ACL.
Jacoby Myers.
No, yeah, I'm taking Rashee Rice.
Good grief! All right.
Yeah, Diggs, Pearsall easily half the season.
I mean, Pearsall and Jacoby Myers are neck and neck.
I think Rashee Rice is going to be where he was to end 2023 more. Where he was actually probably in the top 24, but I think he's going to be in that 24 to 30 range. I really do. I think Worthy is taking a big step forward this year.
I feel like he's elite.
We'll see. We can restart relitigating this argument again in week 7. Again, he was sort of elite. I know he's elite from a yards per route run perspective. 3 games. I mean, all right, great. That's real cool.
It was.
He then blew out his knee.
Pat, he was the most important player in fantasy for 3 weeks.
3 weeks.
He was going to be the most important pick of last year's draft if he didn't get hurt.
He might have been. Producer Adam's on your side. That's what I'm calling it. No, we're moving on. No, we don't even talk about this one anymore. The second it's 2-1 against one. No, I need to talk about this anymore. Yeah, who cares? It doesn't even matter. Not even going to be a big deal in fantasy. It will be a very big deal in fantasy. Yeah. We'll start talking about it more again when he's getting closer to returning. Denny's. He was right. He kept saying Spencer Rattler was going to win the Saints quarterback job, and that it would be a good thing. Kyle and I, not exactly shuck stands, but we were like, please, anyone other than Rattler. It was not. It's Rattler. Denny thinks it's a very good thing. You've already made the case in the show a few times, but please make it again. Why is Spencer Rattler? For Tyler Shuck to lose this job, man, like he had to be beyond atrocious.
Yeah, and he's
beyond atrocious.
He's like his profile coming out of college is the worst thing I've ever seen. And I'm trying not to be.
He's at least young though.
Yeah, right. He's 18 months younger than me, which is nice.
He's 26, in case you do not know.
26, guys. Look. The Shuck thing, it's over. It was over the second they drafted him. He's not even an NFL caliber quarterback. He shouldn't have been drafted at all, much less where he was. Spencer Rattler is, and I said this a few weeks ago, he is Steve Young compared to Shuck. Rattler will keep this job for the whole season.
No. Yeah. I got to stop you there.
They can't play Shuck. They can't do it.
Here's the problem, though, Denny. They also can't play Rattler. He's that bad, too.
He really is that all bad. The metrics are horrible. Completion rate over expected is like in the toilet, like Anthony Richardson level, okay? Like Richardson also not an NFL caliber quarterback. So it all that makes sense. But my guy Rattler, he'll chuck it. He will throw it the stupidest throws you've ever seen. But those throws are what you need if you're going to get value out of Olave and out of Rashid Shaheed. So I'm okay with it.
I would actually bet you money that, not including injury, that Rattler will not start all 17 games. Like I would bet you $1 zone.
Okay.
In my
No,
mind.
you know what? I'm thinking about it. That makes sense. Shuck will come in and immediately be benched.
Or honestly, like Kirk Cousins gets the Drew Dinsick tour of New Orleans and comes down. Drew shows him all the good restaurants. Drew at Whale Capper, NBC Sports Bet.
Dude, the Saints are going to be bad forever. They're never going to get better, guys. If you're a Saints fan, it's completely over.
I'm giving a 11.75% chance Kirk Cousins starts for the Saints this year. By the way,
that's so gross, and it makes sense because they're a team that will not admit that they need to blow it up and they need to go into a 10-year rebuild.
Even more than the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Saints need to do that. Denny lays out Spencer Rattler winning the job. Joe Mixon, we were pretty sure he was not going to begin the year healthy. It seemed pretty clear he was headed to IR, NFI, whatever list they wanted to choose. It's injured reserve. He's out at least 4 games. They're not committing to him even playing in 2025, which is alarming, but also is very standard for coaches. And some are like, I don't know. Like, we'll see. Like because they don't have to divulge the information, so they don't do it. He could easily just be back in week 5. But we know he's not back before week 5. We also know that Nick Chubb, the reports got a little better as camp went on, Denny, but they were never glowing. No one is pretending this is pre-injury Nick Chubb. Woody Marks, the 4th-round pass-catching back, he didn't generate a ton of buzz either. What are we telling people? Are we just telling people, again, home leagues, you don't have to play the whole like game theory puzzle. You don't have to draft everyone. You don't need exposure to everybody. Is this a stay-away backfield in Houston, or do you like some of these guys as 0 RB targets?
Not particularly. Dameon Pierce is also going to be involved.
Man, I keep forgetting about that.
And not just like as a breather back. Like I could see Pierce kind of cutting into the early down workload for Chubb.
I seriously keep forgetting he even exists.
There's Daugherty Agumbawale.
He's still there. He made the team?
I believe he did.
Oh my God, it's
unless
over
I completely misread.
Just keep talking. I'll double check that.
Yeah, please double check. But so it's going to be real ugly to start. Like you are going to be guessing, and Nick Chubb is probably the best guess right now as to the question. This following question: who leads the backfield in touches in week 1? Probably
it's Nick Chubb. Not even close. Probably Dare Agumbawale is still on the team.
But will that matter? Is the question.
Matters for Woody Marks. It matter. I have a lot of late round flyers on Woody Marks, and man, I didn't hear anything like it. Dare Agumbawale should have gotten cut. Like Woody Marks should have had a good enough camp for Dare Agumbawale to get cut. Maybe they value him too much in special teams.
Maybe it's the special teams. Yeah,
could be, but not great for Woody Marks. That Dare Agumbawale.
Woody Marks was a hell of a pass catcher in college. Like his pass catching, just the volume, the efficiency, everything really stood out. So it wouldn't be a shock to see him take over that role. But as for week 1, obviously you can't play him. And honestly, you'd have to be pretty hard up at running back to play Chubb.
Yeah. Chubb, you have to draft him. Touches or touches, whatever. Really, really hope you're not starting Nick Chubb week 1. Woody Marks, you do not have to draft. But even in a 15 or 16 roster spot, 12-team league, mouthful there, I would draft Woody Marks. I think he should be drafted in most regular home leagues. Just see what happens. It's the 0 cost flyer. If he's one of the first guys you cut loose, so be it. I do think Woody Marks needs to be rostered across the board.
The fallout for this, if we think more globally about the Houston offense, I've always wanted to use that word, finally found a way, is probably more dropbacks and more passing than they would like, right? And so, obviously I don't care. I'm agnostic. I don't care about the Texans, but I care about their pass catchers. And so maybe this creates the kind of volume that creates an elite season for Nico Collins, makes a guy like Dalton Schultz relevant in PPR especially. And then Jaden Higgins, is maybe a thing with that sort of volume. So, when you think about like what is the actual fallout, we get weighed down by, is it Chubb, is it Marks, is it whatever? It's the pass catchers probably.
That actually makes a lot of sense. Denny's stealing a point from Aaron Gates, who's watching this live version of the Rotoworld Football Show.
Maybe not. You'll never know if I stole it or if that was an original thought.
It probably was an original thought, actually, because it's very, very original or stolen. It's a very good point. Like, why are we debating Chubb versus Marks versus Agumbawale versus Dameon Pierce? It's CJ Stroud season since it's no longer PFF Bobby season.
No.
Talk about thinking globally. We're talking about Chris Godwin. Well, you also were trying to remind everyone all summer long, Tristan Wirfs is hurt too. Also, like Chris Godwin, he's not beginning the year on the PUP list or IR or whatever. They think he could come back at some point in September. But important to remember, Godwin's not the only guy missing for the Bucs. Godwin, creating confusion for fantasy managers, was not placed on an injury list. So he's on the 53-man roster. They also pretty much making clear he's not going to play in September. It seems like the reasoning for this is that he can practice this way, but still looks like 4 games is a good bet for games missed for Chris Godwin. We've given the spiel so much, but what is your final draft we can take on how to attack, how to approach this Bucs receiver core and offense?
So not only, is Godwin going to miss the first month, but I mean, would you be confident that he'll be fully ramped up by week 5 or 6? I don't have much confidence in that.
The only reason I might have confidence in that is that I think this suggests the non-IR placement that they think he's getting close. They clearly want him to practice in full 11 on 11 or whatever, and that maybe they think he's close now. And this is a way to actually have him when he comes back. They want him to be 100% or whatever.
I see what you're
that
saying.
Would be the counter take to that. But
yeah,
I mean, more likely though, the answer is no.
Godwin accounted for 28% of the targets, 27% of the air yards in this Bucs offense before his injury last season. That's a huge gap to fill. Emeka Egbuka, I think, can step in and fill most of it, if not maybe all of it. I mean, honestly, it's such a valuable role. I would say Egbuka fits well. Look, a guy who scores a lot of fantasy points fits well in any roster construction. That's my hot take.
Yes. My
slightly more fine-tuned take is this. If you go heavy at running back in the first 3 rounds, you got to get Egbuka. Like you got to get him because he is your skeleton key. He is the guy who could be a top 12 receiver who you get as a draft as like the 25th, 28th receiver off the board, something like that. So be really aggressive with him. It's happening. It's just a matter of how great it will be. Will it be good or will it be great for Egbuka?
Carter, go get Egbuka.
Yeah,
that's.
I mean, look, he's going after Jacoby Myers right now. That's nuts. What are we doing? That
is nuts. And we know it's a rookie. We know it's a complicated situation. You gotta invest in upside there. You have to bet an upside in that situation.
Emeka Egbuka is going after Chris Olave and Deebo Samuel. Come on.
That's tough stuff. That should not be happening. We'll debate that and more conundrums when we come back right after this to begin our perfect fantasy draft. Tune in to the NBC Sports Now channel for all the biggest stories in sports beginning at 7 a.m. Eastern with PFT Live, followed by the Dan Patrick Show, the Dan Lebitard Show with Stu Gatz, Fantasy Football Happy Hour, and Chris Sims Unbuttoned. The NBC Sports Now channel is available on Peacock, the Roku channel, Samsung TV Plus, and more. Visit NBCSports.com/now for more details.
Stu Gatz.
Said Chris Sims Unbuttoned. People were begging me not to button my top button the other day at NBC Sports headquarters and to steal Chris Sims's bit, but I liked the shirt, how it looked better buttoned up top, and I did it. I didn't do it in front of the Barry gang because I didn't want them to find out. Because then I felt they would be talking about it. I'm telling you now.
In the elevator ride down in the hotel, I said, please unbutton the
You and DJ Short, our boss, were begging me to unbutton it.
It had to be unbuttoned.
I couldn't. You were 100% right. I could not walk into the building with it. No. You were 100% right about that. But by the way, while we're digressing, listen, I don't want to put anyone on blast, Denny, but our Uber driver to LaGuardia, man, like, would it kill you to cut one person off? you know what city this is, man?
This guy was driving like we were out on a pontoon boat at sundown.
And I was afraid to push him because I didn't want you to get like 1-star rating or whatever. But
dude,
would it kill you? First off, there's the thing called the fast lane. You've heard of this, right?
Yes. I mean,
you've heard of this, right, Mr. Driver?
He has not.
No. Man, I'm telling you, people might be wondering, I'm horrible at time management because I was also late running to the office on Monday. That guy, I swear to God, he cut off 30% of the drivers in the greater New York City metro area. The guy to LaGuardia, he didn't have that dog in him. So we're going to draft lots of guys who have that dog in them because now we're going to try to do a perfect draft. We're using Fantasy Life Consensus ADP. That includes data from ESPN, Sleeper, Yahoo, CBS, RT Sports, Underdog, Guillotine Leagues, and much more. So it's the most consensus ADP there is out there. And we're reading a show note here, Denny.
What do we do?
Yeah, what do we do? We hit an NBC Sports Now promo earlier, by the way. Check out NBC Sports Now. But yeah, we're drafting perfect team, Denny. We're looking at picks 1 through 12.
Yep.
We have Jamar Chase. We have Bijan Robinson. We have Saquon Barkley. We have Jahmyr Gibbs, Justin Jefferson, CeeDee Lamb, Christian McCaffrey, Ashton Genty, Derrick Henry, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Malik Neighbors, Puka Nacua. I guess in theory we could reach, but let's just say those are the 12 picks. Let's say we're picking from the 7 spot.
Okay.
What would you be? Who's gone? You don't have to list everyone who thinks gone, but who do you think's here? Who are we deciding between with our first pick?
So, yeah, I mean, it would be, McCaffrey, Genty, Derrick Henry, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Malik Neighbors, Puka Nacua. I think those would be the options. Are we in agreement there?
Yeah, I think so. So.
I'm out on McCaffrey. I'm making a bet against him, this year. And I'll take Brian Robinson. I was taking Isaac Guerendo until that whole ride ended. For me, if you're playing in PPR especially, I'm okay just taking Amon-Ra St. Brown here. We've talked through that before, but basically I think the Lions are going to throw a little more this year. He's a target magnet. As safe as it gets, also with some upside in the event that the Lions have to throw, and have to throw more than they would like. So I would go St. Brown. How about you?
This comes down to Amon-Ra St. Brown or Malik Neighbors more times than not. I feel like at the 7 spot. Sometimes Neighbors goes a little earlier. Sometimes both of them fall a little later. In this world, Derrick Henry is available, but I'm not trying to get cute here and trying to be anchor or RB or whatever, where those receivers are too good to pass up. I've been trying to talk myself into Neighbors. I think Neighbors has a better shot at finishing as the wide receiver 1 overall than Amon-Ra St. Brown. But Amon-Ra St. Brown's baseline is just so stunningly high. I've taken him in so many of my leagues this year. I think we begin this draft at 1-7 with Amon-Ra St. Brown. How's that sound to you, Denny?
That sounds good. Neighbors is very tempting. I will say.
Neighbors is very tempting. I hate taking a guy in such a chaotic environment. And a guy too, we talk about Malik Neighbors really likes to limp off the field. He, in fact, many are saying he loves it.
He really does.
Amon-Ra St. Brown never leaves the field. By the way, I think he's missed a little time the past few years. But Amon-Ra St. Brown at 1-7. We reached a little bit according to this consensus ADP. But the second round, let's just say this goes to chalk, Denny. Okay, wait. So we have the 7th pick. So what pick then is that in the second round?
Well, it would go to the 18-19 area.
The 18-19 range. We're gonna look very powerfully into this, Denny. I'm gonna you tell the folks who's around there.
Brock Bowers, Drake London, Bucky Irving, Josh Allen, AJ Brown.
You can stop reading.
And Chase Brown. We're going to stop at Bucky Irving.
We're going to take Bucky Irving. But let's look at some of the downsides for Bucky Irving. Are there any? For one, what are the downsides for Bucky Irving?
I think the downside is that I was actually on our good friend Chris Harris's show today, and he painted a realistic scenario where the Bucks say, look, we want to make sure that our guy Bucky is healthy and upright for the stretch run. We're not going to be giving him 25 touches a game to start the season. I don't think anyone thinks they're doing that though. But so Rashad White, has a rotational role, maybe even Sean Tucker. But here's the thing, Bucky Irving doesn't need a ton of touches in order to get there. He's a guy who led the league in missed tackles forced per carry. He led the team in led the league. In yards after contact per rush. So even in that scenario, I think he'll be fine.
To me, what is Bucky Irvin's weekly touch floor? Is he really getting fewer than 15 touches that often?
That would actually be shocking.
It just would be shocking. But I think even at 15, I think he could return second round value. And I think it's just going to more be in that 15 to 20 range. I agree with Cris that on a weekly basis, they probably do not want him flying by 20. But the point I keep making, what I think that late season usage showed, is that when it's winning time, when they have to win, when the game is in doubt, it's going to be Bucky Irving option 1, 2, and 3. And then, of course, even most of the time, when it's not, even if the game isn't in doubt, like he's still going to be the primary option. I think it's still going to be maybe a committee by the letter of the law, but that he has just seized such a big percentage of the snaps that I don't regard him as a committee back anymore. And Rashad White, Rashawn Tucker, that could get kind of weird and interesting behind him. It just does not worry me about Bucky Irving. And he just strikes me. It's the Devon Achane archetype from last year, where like a second rounder who just has stratospheric upside, has already demonstrated it on the field. Has some downside, but really not that much downside.
Right.
I mean, the downside would be like Bucky Irving being a 10 to 12 touch player. I mean, there's 0.0 indication that's even in the range of outcomes. So I just don't really see any downside. Famous last words. With Bucky Irving in the second round. So we started with Amon-Ra St. Brown at 1-7. We need to, Adam, can you game out what the exact picks are going to be, by the way? Can someone who's good at the math economy game this out, Denny?
So we would jump to like the 30 to 32 range now.
Yes, we are. We're in the 30 to 32 range here.
So that's James Cook, Tyreek Hill.
Well, hold on. Let's read a few. In this world, I'm just going to tell you this right now. Trey McBride, T. Higgins, Jaden Daniels are both falling, right? They're falling. So they're on the out. T. Higgins, Jaden Daniels, James Cook, Tyreek Hill, Jalen Hurts, George Kittle, JSN, Amarian Hampton, Joey Burrow. We're just eliminating the quarterbacks. Let's just be real. Devontae Adams.
I mean, this is a one quarterback league. So.
This is a one quarterback league. Who is sounding good here? We're not doing zero RB because we easily talked you into Bucky Irving, but we have Amon-Ra St. Brown. We have Bucky Irving. Who from this gaggle of fantasy options is tickling your fancy, Denny?
I mean, I guess I'm way under consensus on Jackson Smith and Jigba, so I'm not.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, let's stop right there. What's going on there? What is going on there?
Bad metrics. Cooper Kupp is going to play the slot.
Bad metrics. I could maybe let that stand. Not really. You start saying Cooper Kupp, I'm like, all right. I mean, who cares? Cooper Kupp played 15 total games since 2021 or whatever.
Downgrade at quarterback massively.
Let's see here. I'm gonna keep talking. I'm gonna look up where Sam Darnold finished as the fantasy QB last year. Just keep talking.
That's not fair. Anybody can finish as a top 10 quarterback in Kevin O'Connell's offense, even JJ McCarthy.
I know. I just think that was my way of saying I think we have a way of we can still he got so overrated last year. I think it's to the point where we can kind of underrate Sam Darnold.
Sam Darnold is a disaster.
He was for the two most important games.
It's going to be apocalyptic this year.
No, he had success in this exact system with the Carolina Panthers. That's where he revived his career. He's super efficient.
It's just
got one guy to throw to. I think it's a one-man receiver. Like you can't. You mentioned Cooper Kupp. I mean, like you might as well be mentioning like a ghost or like a retired player.
Right, guys. So the head coach purges anyone who even talks about the past.
Yeah.
They sign a slot receiver, exclusively a slot receiver in free agency. They get rid of their decent quarterback and bring in a bad quarterback. And JSN's supposed to have a big year.
Yeah.
No, I feel like
JSN's never even played with a good quarterback. Darnold, you're really going to act like there's a big difference between Geno Smith and Sam Darnold.
Yeah.
You could very plausibly Sam Darnold had a way better season last year than Geno Smith ever had.
System. It's just,
it doesn't matter. It doesn't. Someone has to press the buttons. He pressed them like that. He has that capability. This is a smart league. They're going to take some of the concepts that were successful for Sam Darnold last year too.
I think if they just bump Cooper Kupp out to the perimeter and say, good luck, buddy, then JSN can get there.
I think he has been acquired to be kind of a sacrificial lamb, actually.
Then I'm wrong. But in the scenario where JSN is bumped out to be the X, the boundary, he's not going to get there. I'm telling you, like it might not be catastrophic, but he will be disappointing.
And so anyways, do you remember who's available here and who?
So
are we taking a pick number 31?
I like Tyreek. Are we doing that?
No, we're not. Actually, no, we are. I've taken a pretty decent amount of Tyreek. Kittle? No. Come on, man.
No?
Come on, man. Tight end?
So,
you think I'm taking a onesie?
No. This is the latest that we've ever gotten Tyreek. Since 2018, and that's according to our good buddy Rich Rebar. I mean, if he truly is cooked, then this is a bad pick. If last year was a combination of factors, his discontentment, Jonnu Smith taking over as the primary target in the offense, he's gone. Tyreek being injured all year, Tyreek just not wanting to be around anymore in Miami. If those things are resolved, and importantly, the Jonnu Smith thing is resolved, he's gone. So I do think Tyreek is like almost irresistible to me in this area.
I'm feeling the same way. It's just Tyreek Hill. There is a chance he's just aged out. I really don't know if we're like prosecuting that case enough. I was trying to think of a better phrase to that. We're like, I know the quarterback issues. I know he had the wrist. That hurts if you're trying to catch the football. I cannot get over the stat that Tyreek Hill appeared in all 17 games last year and saw an 840-yard drop-off. Like, that is like almost unfathomable. Like, that is truly almost impossible.
Hurt my best ball bags.
Like, almost impossible for that to happen. But there's kind of like a sense, I feel like, of a Tyreek Hill last ride season where like he understands like last year was an embarrassment. Like, he seems like he's all in on this year despite not being all in on the Dolphins and constantly requesting a trade. But I feel good about Tyreek in the third round. I think it could end up looking very foolish, but I think the upside case is strong enough that we take Tyreek Hill here in the third.
Also, just getting back to Seattle real quick. Clint Kubiak is the offensive coordinator, man.
I know. He's fine.
He's not fine.
He's fine. He's fine.
What?
He's fine. He
ran a joke of an offense last year. Just a total like almost like a parody of an NFL offense in New Orleans.
I was gonna say, oh well, come on. The Saints, I forgot it was the Saints. Like, what was he supposed to do? He did cool stuff, remember? And they made him stop. He was actually doing cool stuff. And then they like trailed one time and then they stopped.
I'm just I'm fearful of the entire Seahawks offense, I will say.
Anyways, so all right, we got Tyreek Hill.
We got
Tyreek Hill in the third. We're on to the fourth round. The fourth round, we're picking at 42 here, Denny Carter. But people are going to keep falling. Breece Hall has fallen. Alvin Kamara has not fallen. This is where he's going. Marvin Harrison Jr., Garrett Wilson, Terry McLaurin, Chuba Hubbard, Travion Henderson, James Conner, who we will not even consider, DK Metcalf, Xavier Worthy. Are we reaching on Xavier Worthy? Who from this group would be the first player we're like, I got to click draft after we have?
Yeah.
Who do we have? We have Amon-Ra St. Brown, Bucky Irving, Tyreek Hill.
So for me, it comes down, honestly, to Worthy and Travion Henderson.
Yeah, shock and a little scared because I think the same thing, and we don't normally necessarily agree on this, but I think the same thing.
Yeah, I would go the way I like to build my teams. I would go Worthy, so that we can start Worthy, Tyreek Hill, and Amon-Ra St. Brown. So that's a pretty good trio, I think.
I think it's a pretty good trio. I want to say. Do we reach for Xavier Worthy has upside. Travion Henderson has got real.
Yeah,
that would be kind of like the swing for the fences pick here.
Yeah.
What if Breece Hall falls too? We're not considering Breece Hall over Xavier Worthy. I think we are reaching for Xavier Worthy. Is what I'm doing.
In the runway, with Rice being out for basically the first half of the fantasy season, like you said, I would lean Worthy. But I wouldn't mind Henderson either. I'll leave it up to you.
Well, I'm a little afraid we're having too much of a mind meld because Worthy to me is just the clear pick. And he's been the clear pick to me in basically every draft I've done. So have a lot of Bucky Irving, have a lot of Xavier Worthy. Really intensely need these players to be good this year. But Worthy is our number 3 receiver. Patrick Mahomes, everyone on the show agrees, is on the warpath this year and is back to God mode. And we've all been in lockstep on that. Yeah. Right, Denny?
Absolutely. We know his checkdowns will be harder than ever.
So Xavier Worthy has fallen to us at number 42. Our next pick is number 55, Denny. Set the scene at number 55. Who might have fallen a few spots? Who might we be reaching for?
So right now we have 3 receivers. We have Bucky Irving. That's who we have. So we have RJ Harvey, Devontae Smith, DeAndre Swift, David Montgomery, Zay Flowers, George Pickens, who looks pretty good, Jameson Williams, who also looks pretty good, Ted McMillan, Rashee Rice. Obviously, Rice is off the board. Okay, so I got a question the other day. Are you drafting JMO if you already have St. Brown? And I get why you wouldn't want to do that, right? Because it's like I want like a piece of the pie from different teams, right? I don't want to just keep eating the same pie. I think that works though. If Jameson Williams, if you think he's going to emerge as the wide receiver too, behind St. Brown, I think that there will be enough volume to go around. So I'm not shying away from him because we have St. Brown, but I've kind of started to side with Pickens over JMO. What do you think?
Yeah, well, no.
Okay.
No. Well, I totally agree that the target competition is very sparse in Dallas, with the huge exception of the man who can maybe lead the league in targets and CeeDee Lamb. But there's no one behind George Pickens. He's never played with a real quarterback before. He's never played in a pass-first offense before. He has both of those in Dallas. I've for some reason let a little JMO doubt creep into my mind. I think solely because of Isaac Tesla.
Me too.
That's really silly. That's just really silly.
I don't think it's silly.
It's silly. It's silly.
I think it's very clear. They got rid of Tim Patrick recently. I
just think it's about we finally have a good number 3 receiver. We don't have to rotate number 3 receivers. I just don't think it really says anything about JMO.
They have. I've made the mistake before of dismissing this kind of intense preseason hype. It brings me back to Victor Cruz many years ago, where Victor Cruz goes crazy in the preseason. He becomes the wide receiver 1 for the Giants. I'm not saying that's happening with Tesla, but he could be the wide receiver 2.
Well, you have to. Who else has gotten a lot of hype this summer? Jameson Williams has remained hyped.
Travion Henderson.
Well, Travion Henderson, but Jameson Williams he's remained like a very positive drumbeat player too, where I think they think he could take even another step forward. So I'm not, whatever. You like George Pickens a lot. Do we really need this 4th receiver, by the way?
I mean, no.
We don't, but I'm not taking RJ Harvey. I've been spooked ever since you said.
No. I would take J.K. Dobbins straight up over Harvey. Straight up.
All right. Get him off the show.
What?
Come on, man. Draft weekend. You're telling people you take J.K. Dobbins straight up over RJ.
Well, one guy's a starter and the other guy's a bench guy. So I'll take the starter.
Man, I'm gonna love this one. There has been a lot of buzz has not been a lot of buzz for RJ Harvey.
Okay, so we're going with Pickens. So that means we have a flex.
We have a flex. We'll let you know who our second running back is when we come right back after this. Big Ten Saturday night is back. We're kicking the season off from the Big House as 14th ranked Michigan hosts New Mexico. Coverage begins at 7 p.m. Eastern, only on NBC and Peacock. Here comes Saturday night. The Lobos.
Love that song.
Ever dangerous. This seems like a classic game for Michigan to lose, by the way. They love to get stunningly upset at the Big House this time of year. So tune in on Peacock, see if the Lobos can hang with the Wolverines. I wonder if Michigan has an actual offense this year. That'll be very, very interesting to see. Denny, we're at pick 66, I believe. We have 79 next in the 66 range. So we already have 4 receivers. Oh, my God. Pick 66 is Aaron Jones. Ooh, I feel like you're going to want to take him. But Calvin Ridley, Tony Pollard, 64. Maybe Tony Pollard's falling. I
was kind of hoping that we could draft Pollard.
We'll just see. We'll see if Tony Pollard's falling. There's Tony Pollard. There's Calvin Ridley. There's Aaron Jones, Travis Kelce, TJ Hockenson, Baker Mayfield, Jalen Waddle, Travis Hunter, Jerry Jeudy. I don't think we can take another wide receiver. So we're praying that Tony Pollard falls. Aaron Jones, we're reaching on Caleb Johnson.
For me, it's Pollard or Kelce.
It's Pollard, is what it is.
It's Pollard. I think Pollard is the play. By the way, I forgot this little fact about our guy Pollard. He was top 5 in yards after contact per rush last year. Really good metric guy. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, compared back to his Dallas days, before the leg break. So let's take Pollard as our RB2.
We're taking Pollard. A viewer of the show is saying, don't take the cornerback. Travis Hunter, by the way. Come on, we've moved past that Super Shack. Come on. Pollard, I will say, for the purposes of constructing a podcast, has fallen to us in this draft. Kind of don't think with Tajay Spears hitting IR that he's really going to be falling this weekend as it kind of sets into people that he's like he's a true RB2 now. Like he's a for real RB2 at this point. Like he will not be leaving the top 24 to begin the season. So I don't know if Tony Pollard's really going to be fall. I mean, he could fall in that he's burned fantasy managers a lot. He's no longer a sexy name. Kind of one of the guys that people don't really want to take. But the workload case is just so strong with Tony Pollard. I kind of worry, if he's going to fall. So, all right, we got Tony Pollard here in the 6th round. We're going to do 2 more rounds quickly. Then we're going to try to give you some wide receiver sleepers. Here, Denny, we are at pick 79. Number 79, we have 2 running backs. We have 4 wide receivers. We do not have a tight end. We do not have a quarterback. What we do have is Rome Odunze, Tyrone Tracy, Chris Olave, Deebo Samuel, Ricky Pearsall, Richard, Jacoby Myers, Emeka Egbuka, Evan Ingram. This is the crop of players we're drafting from. Who continues our perfect draft as the 7th player on this?
All right. So I know you want Ingram more than anything in the world.
Why? Can someone tell me what's going on?
Drafting Evan Ingram for the 57th time it's gonna fix you, Pat.
It's like it's honestly, I'm not even kidding. This is like kind of coming dangerously close to ruining my summer. Like, why do I have across the board exposure to Evan Ingram?
I get it. You know, he's the easy button option. Bo Nix loves checkdowns. He was 3rd in checkdown passes last year, talking about Bo Nix.
I'm backing.
Fits perfectly with Ingram's game. We are going to see so much catching and falling down from Ingram. It's great. For me, though, I like to take the opportunity to build wide receiver depth when I can. And right now, taking Egbuka or Pearsall,
it has to be done. It has to be done.
I'm glad you agree. I would take Egbuka. I'm open to Pearsall.
Man, I have Shanny can spin anything into gold, but he can also spurn you at just a moment's notice where it's a negative environment very often in San Francisco. The Bucs have just been such a positive environment. They've been so positive on Emeka Egbuka that I think I would find myself leaning Emeka Egbuka here and just trying to avoid. Producer Adam says Egbuka by a hair. He wants to be the tie-breaking vote.
All right.
I just agree that Egbuka just seems sort of maybe like something special is in development.
I totally agree. Yeah.
You just don't really get that sense with Pearsall. And again, they just seem to love the young man, love the player. And now we have a bench player, Denny.
So, yeah, I mean, Egbuka's our wide receiver 4. I feel like that's a really good luxury. It's a long season, guys.
By wide receiver 4, I believe you mean our wide receiver 5.
5.
In this league, we only have 1 flex spot in this league.
5.
That's what I said when we began the show.
That's pretty good. Yeah.
Wide receiver 5 he's not even starting. Is kind of what I was trying to say.
That's great.
Well, we don't have a tight end. We don't
Lucky
have a
us.
quarterback. Yeah, lucky us. We've got 5 wide receivers. We have 2 running backs. We have 1 pick left to make at number 90. Steph Diggs could fall. Matthew Golden could fall.
Ooh.
David Njoku, Jordan Addison, Jordan Mason, Brock Purdy, Cooper Kupp off the board. Chris Godwin, Tyler Warren, Dak Prescott. I've got 2 ideas. What are your ideas?
I take great pleasure in informing you that it is David Njoku time.
Absolutely not.
What?
Absolutely not.
Are you kidding? This is a slam dunk.
No. This is where David Njoku will not set foot on this team.
You do not want a top 3 tight end on this team.
Whatever. I don't want a tight end on a team where we know the starting quarterback. There's going to be a second starting quarterback by week 5 or 6.
Yeah.
This is an environment of chaos. And listen, someone we spent the whole spring. Hold on. Let me be clear. Someone we spent the whole spring steaming, hyping. Harold Fannin closed training camp on a hype surge. They love Harold Fannin. David Njoku could be getting dealt, which could maybe be good. But I think there's just one too many question marks swirling around David Njoku's situation, not David Njoku himself, who has really come on as like one of the all-time dog level players.
I talked on the show 2 weeks ago about Njoku's domination with Flacco under center 2 years ago over like
it's just too Flacco. I think Flacco might be physically done. I actually think the Flacco thing might go out sadder than ever.
And you know what?
Ever imagine.
You know what? You put in Dylan Gabriel, whose whole game is dropping back 3 steps and throwing it immediately. No, and that's Njoku's thing, man.
Dylan Gabriel is going to make Spencer Rattler look like Derek Carr.
I can't even process that. All I'll say is that Dylan Gabriel has the ability to be a nice point guard in fantasy.
Producer Adam gets to choose between David Njoku. My choices are Dak Prescott or Jordan Mason. Get a solid RB3 who's the goal line back. Get Dak Prescott, who I think could lead the league in pass attempts this year. Waiting for producer. He says Dak. Thank God. Sanity has come to this podcast.
I've never been more upset.
Sanity has come to the show. I've been easing off Dak just a little bit the past 2 weeks because the quarterback options are so good. Like it's a real deep year for quarterback. Last year was not. This year is looking really deep at quarterback, but I love rounding out this team with Dak. Get a guy who's attempting 35 to 38 passes every single week, Denny. Stacked with our guy George Pickens, by the way. Bet you didn't.
That's good. That's good. Okay.
So we only made it through 8 rounds. We didn't get to hit some of our wide receiver sleepers. We are going to run through them real quick, Denny. Who are some of your favorite wide receiver sleepers? Isaac Tesla is one of them, by the way.
Absolutely.
You have to pay attention to drumbeat players. He has enough of draft capital, 3rd round pick. He's in an elite offense. He's on a domed offense. Isaac Tesla. One thing about sleepers is a lot of times they don't wake up, and he just might be bad. He might be totally irrelevant in fantasy. Nah. He's a textbook sleeper case. Who are some other people joining Isaac Tesla as wide receivers?
Yeah. Keenan Allen, I'll just go real quick here. Keenan Allen back with the Chargers. Last year, he was still functional for fantasy. Didn't do much with his opportunity, but could easily be like just a PPR slot machine here with Justin Herbert again. Luther Burden going shortly after Keenan
Luther
Allen.
Burden's ADP just it never happened. He just
and the reason is because he was punished for being injured.
Yeah, but then like Ben Johnson later was like, all right, he's good.
Yeah,
like, he got into it later. Like he seems like a Burden believer.
But his preseason usage was off the charts terrible. So I do understand that.
Wow.
That there wasn't an ADP surge for Luther Burden, but Burden is, I think, a great dart throw later in drafts. Adam Thielen back with the Vikings. I like it. I don't know about you, but I'm into it. And then later on, Pat Bryant, your guy from the Broncos.
Pat Bryant was one. We could not get out of here without discussing Pat Bryant. And who really knows what the Devon Vele trade was about, but no way it's bad for Pat Bryant. And Pat Bryant is kind of a quiet training camp, but Sean Payton's the kind of guy who also I think likes to kind of keep things under wraps. We know he loves Pat Bryant. There was a vote of confidence in someone. It's very possible as Pat Bryant. ADP just never took off and never developed. Pat Bryant, I feel like, is in the Isaac Tesla zone. Tesla as just a slam dunk late round receiver flyer. Maybe you cut him after 2 or 3 weeks. It doesn't matter. No harm, no foul. I like Keon Coleman, by the way, as a post type sleeper. Denny, someone there's just no buzz for this year.
Yeah.
Who could be the number 1 wide receiver for the best offense in football.
Alec Io-Maynor as well.
Alec Io-Maynor is honestly a great one. 4th round pick on the Titans. Only really Tyler Lockett to surmount in the targets battle. Someone with no buzz. Alec Io-Maynor. Another rookie, Kyle Williams with the Patriots. A lot of buzz in some circles. A lot of other circles haven't even heard of him.
Right.
Kyle Williams, another great one on the Patriots. Josh Palmer, a great veteran sleeper on the Buffalo Bills. Someone I really like. Have we hit all the names?
Real quick on Io-Maynor, just real quick. He played like 85% of the snaps with Cam Ward on the field in the preseason. He was targeted on 28% of his routes in the preseason. That's super strong. I'm not saying that's going to hold up in the regular season. That I don't think it will. If it does, then he's going to be the story of fantasy this year. But Io-Maynor could be really valuable to folks who fade receiver early and need to pick up and need to target guys who get target volume later in the draft.
Final question. Does Jalen Coker count as a sleeper? Does he have a sleeper case? He doesn't have a very high ADP.
People love
They
Jalen
do
Coker.
love Jalen Coker.
I personally don't get it at all, but okay.
I've never really looked into it. I'm just going to be honest with you.
I mean,
for a while, they made it sound like he was competing with Hunter Renfrow for a roster spot. Thankfully, that did not come to fruition for him.
I guess he's a guy people enjoy.
we'll say this on Jalen Coker, not trying where we were just kind of glib about Jalen Coker. A lot of really smart people really like Jalen Coker as a late round wide receiver target.
Sure.
So,
I know. I'm truly like there are a lot of respected analysts who are in all the way on Jalen Coker.
So those are some of the best late round wide receiver targets. That was, of course, the perfect draft. I remember who we took, by the way. We took Amon-Ra St. Brown, Bucky Irving, Tyreek Hill, Xavier Worthy, George Pickens, Emeka Ibuka, Dak Prescott, and a third running back that I do not remember. Was it Jordan? Did we take Jordan Mason?
It was possibly Jordan Mason.
So, this team's perfect.
No way to know.
There's absolutely no way to know. Maybe we'll blurb about it, who we took. Maybe you'll keep listening to Rotoworld Draft Day, where we have our best ball mock draft coming up. We have a live Q&A at 7:30 p.m. Eastern on Thursday evening with myself and Denny Carter. We have a Rotoworld PPR mock draft where Denny and I were joined by some of our best friends in the industry. Many, many great names from fantasy life. So please check that out. For Denny Carter, I'm Patrick Daugherty. Thank you so much for listening. Best of luck in your drafts this weekend.